First time my brother-in-law met my mum, right? You remember what those situations was like. First time, he was hungover and he arrived at the house and my mum said, "Oh, how's the head?" And he said, "Well, I've never had any complaints." Welcome to Who Dinks Wins from the Special Pickleball Service with me, Coach Beresford,
Me, Coach Philip.
And me, Coach Montgomery.
officially a coach. This week it's Thanksgiving, and we're talking about what we're most thankful for in the world of pickleball. I'm thankful pickleball is still relatively new to the folk in Berkeley and therefore looked like a 5.0. Philip is thankful for silver singles, and Montgomery is thankful for starting a new job and at last playing with people who know even less than he does, if that is indeed
Absolutely.
possible. First week in the new job, how was it?
I've only done one session. It was good. Yeah, it's good. It was interested to teach people who'd done nothing at all, didn't know anything about pickleball, start at the very beginning. So we just started with doing services and just sort of built it up. But the intermediate people who had played a lot it's quite interesting. They were basically just going, well, I haven't improved at all during this session. It's like, I really want to improve in the next 10 minutes. Why haven't you made me improve? So
Right.
they were a little bit demanding. They were very nice, but it was like they expected miracles.
And there's a fundamental difference between one-on-one coaching and then coaching groups because you have to sort of work with the lowest common denominator, right? So the weakest people tend to be eat up most of your time. If they literally have no hand-eye coordination,
Yeah.
you're going to be with them babysitting. And also if they're slightly older, slightly more infirm, then you're going to be looking after those people all the time as well. So that does suck up an awful lot of time, and
It
therefore the
does.
distinction
It's
between it's
quite
course,
tricky. It's when you've got two courts and you're
yeah.
concentrating on the weaker ones. The other lot
Mhm.
get fed up because you're not concentrating on them. So you have to spend equal time with both of them, but it's quite tricky.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
quite an art to it, and it takes a while to get used to it, for sure. But it's different each time, right? 'Cause you don't tend to get the same people coming all the time, at least in my clinic. So you just don't know until you get there what mix you're going to have, and therefore how you need to respond to that group.
It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And I had to explain to my American friends the other day that meant no sense whatsoever in England because we did have a list of chocolates. So you did always know what you were going to get. But they didn't in the 50s. So it made
Well, even now,
sense.
these candy, you often don't know what you're getting. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you know.
So what are you doing for Thanksgiving? It's sort of still it's only our sixth Thanksgiving, of course, and we're getting used to it now. What are you doing?
so for me. It's my 26th Thanksgiving, something like that. And um, I've always felt a little reluctant to do it, really. I haven't found much connection with it, really. Um, but for Americans, it's the biggest holiday of the year. So
You should have a connection, really, because I had to look up the history of Thanksgiving.
right,
And these
right.
people came from Plymouth, which is where you come from.
Yes, I guess what the Puritans
The,
and
the, the Pilgrims, yeah, the
yes,
Puritans.
heading out there, and the first Thanksgiving, I guess, feast, which lasted 3 days in 1621.
Was it? And they had a feast with the indigenous folk of,
And
of,
with
of
no
America.
turkey.
They were the Puritans who broke away from the Church of England, as I understand it, recently, to set up in the New World. So
Right?
basically, it's English, everybody.
We brought
Even
it
though we
over.
don't celebrate it, it is an English thing that we
Start.
started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
And
welcome. You're welcome, America.
yeah, you're welcome. And it's not celebrated anywhere else in the world. I think Americans do need to realize, a bit like the World Series, it's like a celebration they have and no one else does. We have turkey at Christmas, and so to have I don't I like turkey, but I'm not sure about a big roast turkey. I can manage that like once a year. I don't need to be having it at Thanksgiving and then a few weeks later at Christmas. So I'm doing Chinese on Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think most Americans do turkey on Thanksgiving and then Christmas. They switch it up. So it is a once a year delight.
Yeah, they do the beef or whatever on Christmas Day. Is that right?
Beefy stuff. I think it's a whole mix of
Or
things.
A
ham,
mixture of
or it's a
things.
ham.
We
Yeah.
used to do breakfast for Christmas because um, that would be the main thing. So about it would be a brunch and it would be all about the breakfast thing, which I loved. So I love breakfast. So
Yeah,
for that.
well, obviously, traditional in our family is to do the turkey on Christmas Day and then do a turkey curry on Boxing Day, and to explain to our
Boxing Day.
beloved colleagues in America, is that colleagues, is that right? Countrymen, whatever.
Yeah.
Boxing Day is not about us going out and hitting the shit out of each other. It's actually boxing up our presents the day after Christmas Day, just so you know.
Well, Americans are back at work on what
I
is
know.
effectively
Like
Boxing
they
Day. I
love
mean,
work,
there's
don't
no.
they?
For Thanksgiving, they get obviously the Thursday off, then the Friday, and it's a long weekend. So everybody's in good spirits at the moment, which
Yeah,
is
it's really
nice.
quiet. Everyone seems to have gone away already. It's so quiet on the roads.
And the kids are off school all week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's why I had
fun
to wait
as
about
well.
half an hour to get my coffee in Starbucks today because they were
That's
full
it.
of kids.
I just played pickleball this morning and open play, which was really fun. Shout out to Sofia Zapata, who is the best I've seen her play, really good. But then last night, Nick and I were playing, and we had a question from another court. Well, it wasn't a question. They said, "Oh, I like the new rule where if the ball hits the net on the serve and goes out, you can replay it."
Right, what did that mean?
No.
I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what rule is this then? But then I did a little looking up, and there is a bit of rumor of it being out there. So I don't know if one tournament or something happened and somebody's taken this up. But most of the websites are not agreeing with that. But there is a little bit out there of it. So whether
So you're
that's going to
talking about
happen, I don't
going
know.
out of the court completely, or are you talking about going into the kitchen and then
It's a
restarting?
net call, either. If it
Right.
doesn't go where it legally should, where you could keep playing, you get another go at it.
Well, I suppose you could do that if with beginners, but in a tournament, that seems ridiculous. I was there just before you at open play. We did drills, and
Okay, how
that
was
was
that?
quite fun. There's a good game where you're playing to the person opposite you with two balls. One's at the kitchen line and one's further back, and you count the consecutive third shot drops that you get in. So it becomes a competition. So the highest we got to today, I think, was Patrice. You got eight on the trot. So
Wow,
yeah, that's quite a good
nice,
fun game.
Patrici.
Yeah,
It's also, how many did you get?
six.
One. Oh, six. That's not bad.
That's really
Cheeky
good. Yeah.
bastard.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I
So
can't wait
rude.
to have another game against you, Barry. My game has improved a lot, so I'm looking forward to competing.
That is an interesting hypothesis because my game hasn't improved, I don't think, because I'm not being
Not being
pushed too
challenged.
much.
Right.
Not really. Although my nephew's here at the moment, and he's here actually. He's in Indianapolis. He's been recruited for soccer, which is football to you and me. And he's come over from the UK, and he's actually a good athlete, but also an incredibly good pickleball player. And I think if pickleball was just a few more years advanced, I'm pretty sure that he would be on a scholarship for pickleball. He is
Mm.
easily that good. I would probably pitch him at about, if he plays consistently, he's 5.0. Without a shadow of a
Wow.
doubt. He's incredibly fit, incredibly quick. And this is sort of, I'm just going to sort of venture into my tip of the week, actually. As ball goes over your head, what I tend to do is I tend to chase. So I tend to turn and chase. So if I've been lobbed, turn and chase the ball. Now, if you're with a very, very quick player, much more athletic, youthful, sprightly, chances are they're going to get it, right? Because he's going to run behind me. And I turned and then run towards the ball. He'd run towards the ball. And then he did a no look backhand really hard. And the
Hmm.
ball left his paddle and went 12 inches and was stopped by my testicles.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice.
So
Yeah.
there's this whack and a sort of a wincing, agonizing pain, and virtually not able to stand, so eye-watering, purely by sheer virtue of the fact that I turned my back, basically, had turned my back to the game, and therefore I was chasing the ball rather than really what I should have been doing, which was shouting switch, moving over to the right-hand side for him to cover, and
Yeah.
just do the simple thing really, really well. But instead, turn my back to the game, which is an absolute no-no. Even if you're about to be smashed, whatever, don't turn your back because that's when accidents happen. Shield your face with your paddle, whatever you might be, but never ever turn your back. So I turned my back to face the ball, and he had his back to the game as well, obviously, because he was trying to hit a no look backhand, but he took my testicles
So
in
it
the
traveled
process.
12 inches, so like three times the length of your actual manhood, and then hit you in the testes, which were 5 inches below in between your legs.
Yeah, no, not quite, unfortunately. I mean, he couldn't have planned it better. It was like most, if you wanted to hit my nuts at sort of point blank range, you couldn't have done it any better. It was of course incredibly sore. So when you say you'd have a fighting chance against me at the moment, Montgomery, I think you probably would. I'm not only not as good as I was maybe sort of a month or two ago, I'm also hobbling a bit, shall we say?
That's gonna smart. That is a plastic
It
wiffle
is.
ball.
It is. It is. At that speed with that power and that it's like yeah, being hit in the nuts with a wet towel or something. It was
Well,
it was pretty
flicked. Yeah, flicked wet
flicked.
towel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
flicked wet towel.
The lob's happened, and you think they're going to return it. What's your plan then?
So you intuitively believe, right, that to hit it into the space that they have left, right? So there's an open court, more or less. What half the court is open, hit it into that court would be what you would think. Actually, it seems counterintuitive, but hit it to the spot they're about to leave because they can see that the space is open, so therefore they're going to get it. And actually, most relatively quick people are going to get there. You would get it, and even Montgomery would get it.
Charming.
But hit it to the spot they're leaving because it knocks them off balance and they're not expecting it. And also, there's two people where you're hitting it to. They don't know, nobody knows who's going to get it. So
I,
that would
I agree
be.
with that. Where are you standing where are you and your partner standing when you have played the lob? You're watching them run back and hit it. Where are you going to be?
I suppose what you should be doing, common sense would be you're approaching the kitchen line as a unit, so
Yeah,
apparently
got
moving
to
up
be.
forward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Because you've got time to do that because the ball's in the
I think
air.
a
Yeah,
lot of
got to
people
be.
stay deep, don't you think you see a lot of people stay deep?
yeah.
And I'm always saying, okay, let's go to get up to that line to do exactly what you're saying.
Hmm.
Yeah, but
Because
that's only if
then,
it's if it's a successful lob, though, isn't it? Because if it goes high over their head and bounces, then you should go to the net. But if it's in
yeah,
the air and they're going to slam it and volley you, then you probably got to stay
that's not a
back.
lob. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
lobbed them.
If
You
it's an
just popped it
unsuccessful
up.
lob, stay back.
Yeah, and I like what you're saying about playing it to where the players are because they are ready to move. They're off balance, and they just don't expect it there. I agree. Yeah, good point.
I'm very guilty of hanging back. So I fire up my lobs all the time, and all I'm looking for is a smash to keep coming back, and then I just keep doing the same thing over and over again until they wear themselves down or they put it into the net. Now, of course, every now and then you get a great player that can hit that beautiful angle over a smash, and it's off the court and you can't get it. But I do find it's physically exerting for somebody just to constantly jump up to hit a ball. And then
Right.
they wear themselves down. And I find that my lob is probably that and my backhand slice is probably my biggest asset, I would think. So I do
Mm,
hang back, but you're right, I shouldn't be. I should be moving forward, of course. And that's also one about leadership, isn't it? There should be one of you, if not both of you, but certainly one of you almost acting as a bit of a team captain, if you like.
right.
Just so, right, now we move forward, now we're back.
Yeah.
So Chris, as in Chris Valego, is really,
Yep.
really good at that. Right now, move forward, and then
Yes.
a cup, whatever. There should be one person constantly sort of in your ear about that. If it's not you, then it should be your
Yeah,
partner.
absolutely. Yeah, well, you got yeah, and also the whole thing about being tied with a bit of string together going forward and back is always a good thing to remember as well. We were doing drills today, and one of the things you notice with people is when the ball goes on the far side to the kitchen. So you're standing in front, and the ball's on the far side of the kitchen. Everyone just stays still, and what they should be doing is they should be moving over like a crab,
Mm.
backwards and forth to cover the middle. And what people do, they tend to stay in their square, and then the middle's open. Does that make any sense? So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's best to
Absolutely.
move backwards and forwards like a crab. By the
Yeah,
way,
because the
did you know that
go on.
crabs think humans walk sideways? Did you know that's a fact? Anyway, yeah, sorry, yeah. So go backwards, side to side like a crab, but keep the same distance. Otherwise, it leaves the middle open.
Which is the easier shot.
Mm,
what you want to make
it
them play
is.
is the harder shot, and the harder shot is the cross court to the
Exactly.
opposite corner where the kitchen is. Yeah, and if they get that, then good shot, you know. But at least
Mm.
you've taken out the easy shot, which would have been the middle. Yeah, I agree too.
So the only
Yeah.
coaching tip we got this week is to not get your testicles hit by a wiffle ball. Is that what we're saying? But we've got
Well,
any other
yeah. I mean,
coaching tips?
or don't put yourself into the position whereby you can be struck on the gonads by a wiffle ball, which is exactly what I did. As I just broke the sort of the cardinal rule, really, which is don't turn your back to the game,
Had it
even
hit something else that was close to it, it would have been tip of the week.
Yeah,
Well,
I did actually. Well, it is tip of the week, isn't it? I suppose, or very, very close to being tip of the week. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
unless you're not, unless you're not a cavalier like we are from the Church of England, if you're a roundhead, then it wouldn't make any difference.
Don't, don't,
Very graphic description of
don't.
yourself a bit there. Speak for yourself if you want, Montgomery.
Because I've realized also, because we have turkeys for Christmas, and Americans don't have turkeys for Christmas. So the expression, it's turkeys voting for Christmas, always falls on dead ears here. And you have to adapt it to turkeys voting for Thanksgiving. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
I am not familiar with this phrase.
It
Well, it,
basically means you're if you're voting for, and we'll keep politics away from it for obvious reasons, but if you're voting for something you don't want to happen, like
yeah,
a turkey doesn't want to vote for Christmas because they're going to die.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of where that expression. So it's
Ah,
an expression it's pretty much unique to England, I'd have thought.
the average American consumes how many calories you think on Thanksgiving Day?
Wow.
4,000.
Average.
Yeah.
3,000?
4,000.
Yeah, 4,500. So 4,500 calories on average on Thanksgiving Day,
That's a
which
lot,
it
average.
is a lot, but why not? Why not? Because a lot of Thanksgiving is often all your family and a lot of friends. And everyone's bringing food because they have this potluck thing. So they all bring stuff and there's so much of it, and everyone's made such a huge effort. It's amazingly tasty. You can't stop yourself, and you always go back for more and more. And then happens again with desserts.
Does that include booze, these calories?
Oh, that's a good question. Don't know. I,
I bet
And
it
I
doesn't.
would think so, but
I wouldn't
what
have thought it does.
I mean,
I
I
would
no,
would
have.
have thought they would have
probably not.
said the total that this research said probably does, but you would think it would be higher, right?
Hmm.
You would think
Hmm.
it would actually be 6,000 or something like that. But but it's like I said, why not? Why not? It's one day of the year. Just let yourself go. What the heck? You're gonna burn it later
Yeah.
on, hopefully,
Well,
especially if you're a
it's
pickleballer.
it's traditional to for us to have turkey at Christmas along with mince pies, Christmas pudding. What is there any traditions here that they have with turkey as far
They
as
have
pudding's concerned?
pumpkin pies,
All right. That's
which
just disgusting, that is.
well, it's animal food, right? I mean, we used
Yeah.
to give that to cows, so
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. And what's that nut-based
Pot roast,
no, what they call pecan pie or pecan pie.
pecan
Those are
pie. Right.
two,
Right.
those two, yeah, not my
Yeah,
favorite.
not great. No,
Um,
they're not as good as mince
and
pies.
then there's just a mix of everything. But what's really missing, what huge thing is missing, are Yorkshire puddings.
Because there's nothing better than Yorkshire pudding and to put all the gravy in the middle of the Yorkshire
Ah,
pudding. That's the
so
best.
good. Oh my
I
God.
know.
So one of the best dishes, and our kids love it, is corn pudding, which is basically a bit like Yorkshire pudding but made with sweet corn in there and an awful lot of cream. It's absolutely
Was
decadent and
it?
Mm.
beautiful.
Christ.
And the
Don't know.
worst thing I've ever had here, it was called Mrs. Harwell's salad.
Ding dong.
So I thought, well, I'll have a bit of salad with my turkey. It was a
Yeah.
fucking trifle. I mean, I'm not kidding. It was like it
What?
was proper. It was a trifle, and it was a bit
Really?
of fruit in there. So somehow it passed as a salad, but it was literally the most vile thing I've ever put on my plate
Well, the
in my
trifle's
life.
fine though afterwards with a bit of sherry inside.
Yeah,
It's
but you don't get
fantastic.
trifle
Love a
here. They don't
trifle.
do it.
They don't do trifle.
You don't do
Oh, this
trifle,
was
especially remember the little fingers that go around the outside.
Yeah.
exactly. They didn't have trifle.
Disgusting.
But it was trifle is the closest term I can come to it that you guys would understand. But it was filth.
I,
There's
And
a
it's
there's a there's a dearth of trifle and tapioca.
I,
yes,
Right. Yeah. There's also an obsession here. I mean, every Christmas I was forced to eat bloody Brussels sprouts because my mum made them so badly, just overboiled them, and they were like
Ah,
Yeah, soggy.
soft and disgusting and
awful.
smelled awful.
British. Yeah.
But everyone loves Brussels sprouts here. That's on every single
Well,
menu.
they're roasted here. They're
Yeah.
roasted. They're
That is
covered in
nicer.
garlic salt.
Roasted
They've
with a bit
got
of
little
bacon in
nuts
it.
with them. They're
Yeah.
really quite good.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And a
But
little balsamic vinaigrette. Oh,
I
Yeah.
couldn't
Very
believe
good.
when I first arrived here, people eat Brussels sprouts voluntarily here.
Mm.
right.
But they are absolutely delicious here.
They are.
Very, very nice. It's changed my America's changed me for the better when it comes to Brussels sprouts, that's for sure.
I have another fact. Jingle Bells was originally a Thanksgiving song,
Was it?
apparently. Who knew?
So really? And who wrote
Don't
Jingle
ask me any more
Bells?
about it.
Well, I'll tell you my interesting story of the week. I had an argument with a razor blade. I So I have to, now and again, I haven't got much hair, but now and again I like to trim it up the side and leave it on top to make it look as if I have hair on top.
Yeah.
And I went off one side with my razor and it ran out, right? So I looked for the cable. I had friends coming around, two girlfriends from LA. They were coming around in an hour. And I had one side was now shaved, the other side wasn't, and I couldn't find the bloody lead. So running around the house trying to find this thing. So I give up. And I go for I knew how to shaver like it was an old man's dad's shaver, with the sort of round bits on it. You're supposed to just do it
Oh,
on your
yeah.
face. So I
Yeah,
decided
Ronson.
so I decided to do it on the other side with that, and it put a
Good.
huge hole in my head, right? A huge
Why?
hole of hair, just like so I
Oh,
looked like I'd been sort of having treatment,
right.
and so I panicked. I still couldn't find the lead. These girls were coming around in about 10 minutes. So then I took the razor, so I razored both sides. And when Alison saw me, she said, I look like, who was the guy in Tropic Thunder?
You make me happy.
I just looked absolutely dreadful. So in
Can
the
we
end,
see it?
so in the end, I just shaved. So in the end, I just shaved it all off. I had
Yes,
to.
you did.
I had no point. So I just thought I'd
Dr.
start
Evil.
again.
You kind of looked a bit like when Darth Vader took his helmet off in Return of the Jedi. It's kind of not what I expected
Well, helmet.
necessarily.
I actually looked like a helmet. So with
It reminds me of the time I was in Japan and I accidentally shaved off one eyebrow.
Oh right. Well, I did that to a fellow soccer player on a football tour. But he didn't do it voluntarily. He was asleep, so he woke. It's terrible. He woke up with one eyebrow, so he had to shave the other one. It looked ridiculous. Did you shave the other one?
No, I didn't accidentally do it. I'd taken a sleeping pill and I wasn't. I woke up in the morning fully dressed with this amount of this eyebrow missing. The others trimmed quite well, but I'd
Oh,
somehow
you were
overcome.
trimming your
So I
eyebrows.
was I was manscaping, and
Oh
this
my
one
God.
was here.
But we've got an announcement to make, haven't we? We had lots of reviews, lovely reviews on Apple and Spotify and Gmail and YouTube.
For our
Uh,
contest.
Special shout out to U-Haul. If charming British accents work like aphrodisiacs on you, be forewarned, the three dashing hosts of the podcast, Who Dinks Wins, are prodigiously charming. Fair enough if you say so.
Nice.
Or if you enjoy three British transplants lovingly ramble on about their most unremarkable lives before they get to any useful pickleball content, this pod may be for you. For me, one, all three hosts have great pickleball tips that we can all use, and two of the three hosts confirm the adage, those that can't do teach. So I guess that must be you two, because two, the banter amongst the three hosts is consistently above average. Thank you. And three, the host bring in great guests like Coach Kim. In summary, come for the accents, always skip the first few minutes, and stay for the great tips and guests. Go WDW. So thank Ujal. That's fantastic. But
Nice.
we think the winner is someone who comes from Pennsylvania called Julia. She said, I recently found your show and love to listen to your podcast. I don't have an Apple account to leave a review on there, but as requested, I'm sending my review here on Gmail. Three coaches with charm and with grins, confessing their serious sins of dinking too hard, on court and on guard, for Who Dinks Wins, everyone wins. I'll forgive her for putting two wins in the last sentence, but anyway, it was nice that she did a little poem for us. So that lovely paddle, the
Oh,
Aereo, will be going to Pennsylvania very
wow.
shortly.
Congratulations.
So long as the postage isn't too much.
Yeah.
And she has to come and pick it up.
Do you find it kind of weird, but good weird, that there are people in random parts of America that tune into this?
Yeah, isn't it great? And random parts of Sweden, Greece, and the UK as well, which is
Yeah.
Was
We're
it
so
Greenland
thankful.
or something
even
as well?
weirder.
Something really,
Greenland?
Yeah, Greenland.
it was,
Is
wasn't
that a
it?
real
Yeah,
place?
yeah.
It is.
Before they get
Ah.
invaded by the USA, the
Well, they're
guy
probably
who
swatting up just in case they do become part of America. Then they've got to know the fastest growing
That's
sport.
true. Yeah, they are probably trying to learn pickleball because they don't be part of America. No, but the head of the forces in Norway said, if the Americans want to come and invade Greenland, we'll be happy to rescue them because it's so harsh there.
Oh, well, congratulations to her. That's
Yeah,
great.
fantastic. Thanks,
Awesome.
Julia.
I'll be down at my new club this afternoon, actually. 2 o'clock we got a court, and then there's a round robin at 5:30. I was going to go in and partner my dazzling nephew for that, so we can go and clean up a bit later. So that'll be quite good fun. So, and then I think Harry, my daughter, wants to make cocktails later, and I have no idea what she's going to make. So that'll be quite good fun. And then tomorrow we're meeting Jackson's girlfriend's parents for the first time. So they've invited us over to Thanksgiving. So that's very nice of them, and also slightly unnerving because it's properly the land of the giants. I think that Clayton, Emma's father, is something like, I think I want to say he's like 6'10" or something. The brother's 6'8", Emma's 6'4", Jackson's 6'6".
Oh my God, they must have a house with really tall ceilings then, or they sort of like stoop every time they come in through the doorway. It's terrifying.
Yeah, maybe it's a double story house that's had the middle story removed or something. I don't know. So
So, I
yeah,
mean, just remember not to say, because tall people always hate it when you say, "What's the weather like up there, mate?"
yeah. I think Jules had that all her life actually. So she's
But not here, not in America. People don't say that here.
And just a
um
reminder, we've got an audience show on December the 11th, Thursday, December the 11th, in downtown Los Gatos. So we've got plenty of responses so far. People who want to come, so let's get as many people as possible, and make a party of it for our Christmas special.
I've got a few of my ex-athletes that you now possibly coach, Montgomery, are coming along. So
Awesome.
Great.
there's at least a couple more people from so Michelle and Kathy K and Kathy C are gonna come along as well, I believe. So that will be really good. Reunite with everybody. And I'm staying over with Jill and Roger. Jill said, don't come over to our house and throw up in the bedroom. And I said, I'm not going to throw up in the bedroom. I'm going to throw up in your knickers drawer.
The pleasure would be all mine, matron.
Will she notice? That's the question.
Well, that's one only Jill can answer, and I can promise you, she'd
No,
go
she
forensic on
she
something like
might
that.
look at it and go, "Oh, Roger's been at it again in the knicker
Oh,
drawer."
dear.
Please, please.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Well, on that particular bombshell, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take
yeah,
care.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
guys. Happy
What-
Thanksgiving to
whatever
everybody
that
out
is.
there.
well, it's a goodbye from me, Montgomery.
And it's goodbye from me, Coach Philip.
And it's goodbye from them.